Welcome back to Lessons Unplanned, the realities of teaching. And last episode, we talked a lot about what's changed in education. And notice, still very festive, still showing school pride.
Yep.
And it's led me to kind of like, hey, we talked a lot about what it's like being a teacher and dealing with the parents. But I have two people who are, I'm a parent too. Your parents, your child, your children have gone through the school system with you, and I think it might be important to talk about. There's some pros and cons to that.
Yeah. Yeah, well, there certainly is.
I think you got the obvious.
3-hour episode,
right? No, we're
this is the vent section.
This might be. Yeah.
This is where it comes out.
Anyone who is a child of Tressa and Jake,
do not
watch. You're getting named today. Yeah.
Do not watch this episode or listen to it.
Or watch it and see how we really feel. Just kidding.
You're true serum.
You cannot. There isn't a rock big enough to hide under right now, boys.
So, I think, being a teacher is one thing. Being a parent is another. But being a parent who is a teacher gives you a unique perspective on the classroom. Mm-hmm. What's one of the things you guys deal with as being a parent? And how does that, being a parent, what does that perspective do to you as a teacher when you're in the classroom?
So for me, I honestly, and I know this is totally cliche, but I honestly feel like I'm a parent to all of those kids. And I've
she's
always
the mom
felt
of the
that
moms
way.
of all the kids.
I have. The kids will come to me and because I guess I'm just that mom, right? I started teaching and I had kids the same year. So 99, I had the twins and I started my in-class experiences in college that year. Mm-hmm. So I've never been in a classroom that I've not been a parent, right? So I just am like that, I guess. The kids just come to me and tell me things. And that's where it gets to be kind of interesting. Oh, hey, this kid comes and tells me something that, did you hear about what so-and-so said or so-and-so did? Okay, let's tone it down. We don't need, it's teaching them about how to be appropriate with things and what's okay to be upset about and what's not okay to be upset about.
As a mom, you've had that conversation a few times too?
A few times, yeah. I think it would be more than a few. But I mean, the emotions get involved and then everybody kind of gets a little bit heightened and you got to calm everybody down. And sometimes, honestly, classes can't happen because 3 or 4 different kids are upset about something and then you have to have the conversation. It's a lot. It can be a lot.
Sounds like family dinner.
It can be a lot.
Teachable moments.
Jake,
right.
What's it like being a dad and a teacher? Where's that perspective come for you?
I mean, it's tough because, you want your kids to not be underneath that shadow or umbrella, where they're the teacher's kid.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's a pro and a con sometimes.
Just they don't, I was always fearful of being their coach, growing up. So, I've always tried to just take a step back and communicate when I needed to. But again, have the kids, as I do my students, the same thing, the same sentiment for my students as Tressa has, as well as the kids I coach, because it was one and the same. But to advocate for themselves, and I think that kind of pushed that a lot more. Where, we both, my wife and I, teach, and we kind of pushed a lot more of that, having them advocate for themselves and then, navigating that water of, we've been there as a teacher, and then having to reach out as a parent, teacher, and talk to them to see what's going on in the classroom. But we always made sure that when we did those things, we're like, listen, we're teachers. We're not coming at you. We want to see what's going on, and then we're going to go home and fix it with him.
Oh,
yeah. And always that conversation of the boys was, oh no, don't point fingers at them. What are you doing? What can you do better? And so I think it kind of was it was worse for our kids. And my son's a senior right now, so he's catching the tail end of it. But
I have my daughter in class now.
It was huge,
and she's in my one of my class periods now, and it's fun for me because I get to see how she interacts with her peers. I get to see how they interact with her. I can see her when she doesn't know I can see her. There's that. She's in a different class and I can walk by and I can hear what she's saying or, if somebody's saying something. So that's kind of neat. Right. I like that. Yeah. It's kind of fun.
I think as a parent and a teacher, you have a little bit more access to what's going on. because
you understand what's happening a little more.
because you hear the stories.
Yeah.
You know the who likes who doesn't like what's being done in in the other classrooms too.
Yeah.
Right? And sometimes it's like, ooh, I don't like that. And then you're gonna like, how do I talk about that?
Right.
How do I take off the parent hat and have a teacher conversation?
I'll be honest with you. I one time in my career, I freaked out as a parent. Freaked out as a parent. I remember something happened. I was not happy because my child was not happy, and I picked up my phone and I called the principal's office and I said, "Mama Bear's here. I'll wait. Make this happen."
Oh boy.
And they knew, oh, okay, we're going to see what's going on here. And was my kid in the right? No. Was I in the right? No. Was the other teacher in the right? No. We all had to come to an agreement, right?
Right.
But if I hadn't have spoke up, nothing would have been done. And then what? And then my child would have perpetuated on it and been like, oh, this is making me mad. And then that would have been a bad year. Ended up being a great year.
Yeah.
And it started off to be a little bit of a struggle.
We all know. We were all kids in school once, and we weren't teachers, but we all know who the teachers' kids were.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So they wear a little bit of a scarlet letter around them.
They do. Don't say it in front of that kid because they'll go tell their mom.
Exactly. And then also, it's tough having those conversations with peers.
Yeah.
When you are a parent and you want to talk to them about something. That's hard. I'm kind of glad I left the school district that my son went to. So it was way better. And you both, I know you both, and both of your kids are in the system.
Oh, yeah.
And have gone through the system because you have a range of ages.
I have a bunch of them out already.
Yeah, we won't talk about that, but thank you for we call that job security.
You're welcome.
That's a tough conversation to have. And you also have a little inside ball.
Well, that was funny too, because when my middle child, who I will just say middle child, the very middle one,
middle's a middle,
when they were having a struggle in middle school when they left elementary, and at the time I was teaching elementary, so I knew right where they were, leaving and what they had. Like I knew their tools.
Yeah.
And then they were leaving the elementary school, going to the middle school, but I also had I had taught middle school not that long before, so I knew where they were going, right?
Yeah.
So I understood that whole thing, and he struggled. And when I went into this meeting, new principal, new teachers, they had no idea that I had been in middle school for 10 years before I was in elementary, didn't know I was in elementary because I have last name that's different. So they were new, they had no idea. I was so angry because they didn't understand that, listen, I know exactly what your struggle is as a middle school teacher. I get it. Yeah. But now I'm here as a parent. He's got a struggle too. That's hard.
That is really hard.
It was that was a tough conversation.
Have you ever had a moment when the world of parent and teacher collided? I mean, you kind of shared one. You kind of shared one already.
Two of them at least. I mean, my older kids, not really. Like the twins. The younger ones, I've missed their elementary years because they went to the Catholic school. Now that they're the ones in middle school, I'm starting to, I think, get there. But like with the three, my older three, they were in the public school the whole time. So yeah, we clashed a bunch of times.
Sure.
Yeah.
That COVID teaching, gosh, remember that?
Was
COVID
fun.
Was horrible.
It was so good.
As a teacher and a parent, and seeing that, oh my gosh, it was hard.
We should do that again sometime.
COVID teaching?
Yeah. Man, we got to bring that right back.
I actually loved COVID.
No, who says that?
I loved it.
Nobody says that.
I stayed home all day with my kids.
No.
Taught online.
Were you drunk the whole time?
Well, no, but it was fun for a while. I didn't want to do it all the time. It was okay for a little bit.
Jake, how about you? Have the role of being a parent and teacher ever collided?
My children are perfect. So
just like you, right, Jake?
All right.
I mean, I don't ever remember getting in trouble. So
Jake, I remember you from college. We again another episode.
I remember you from high school. Come on, let's be honest here.
I know, and lasting memories. You're welcome, guys. All right.
Not trouble though.
Still is funny. Still is funny.
Yeah. So it's I don't really think that there was truly anything that negative. It was always going in, talking to their teachers, and sending an email, making a call, them coming to me, or my wife, and being like, hey, they're struggling with this, and those things. It's they aren't and weren't perfect in any means of terms of their behavior, but there was really, it never hinged around that. It was always an academic thing for both of them. And, what do we need to do and how can we help? I don't really think there was anything. It was a lot of struggles on our side to get them to do the work. That was the biggest thing in our house is, you've got to do this. You've got to buckle down. You got to do this. And my oldest, he didn't love school. And not every kid does. And I raised one. And I didn't love school when I was going through. So I knew what it was like.
I think it's hilarious. And what people don't understand is
one.
his kid did not like school, but also graduated a year early.
Yeah.
I just want to point that out.
Do what you got to do.
I think the challenge of being a parent and a teacher is that you kind of know the system and you also want to respect the professional boundary. So when you're witnessing something from your parent hat, not to go and bypass the chain of command and bypass all of that and go, because you know it's supposed to be done.
Right.
That's also a challenge. And so it challenges relationships a lot.
Yep.
I think the other thing is you plan for more kids because, if your child is in school, they have friends and therefore you're packing extra snacks.
All the time.
You're the place where everybody drops their crap off in the classroom for later in the day. You're taking kids home. Or other parents now call you as parents and be like, hey, is this really going on in school? So now you become the
100%.
calendar and you become the Facebook for them.
100%.
You're the website.
You're also the lost and found.
You are the lost and found. So that, obviously I'm making light of it, but it does, it's a little bit different. And we all do remember the fact that there are teachers' kids and everybody kind of walks around thinking they kind of get away with a little bit more or they have a little bit more access to the world. And as parents who are teachers, you try to not make that a thing. But the truth of the matter is we live in rural Pennsylvania, right? Yeah. We live in a small community. Yeah. Our kids are part of our lives. Yeah. They're going to have friends and, we end up throwing kids in trucks and cars and taking them to practices and
there's comfort in that too, to be honest.
Yeah.
When my son was in high school and played soccer for Jake and he was not doing well in school, I took comfort in the fact that I knew Jake as a teacher, I knew Jake as a dad, and I knew he was going to help me take care of my kid.
Yeah.
I'm the same way. I know my daughter's friends. They're safe and they know that and they feel safe and that helps their learning environment grow. I feel.
I wonder if anyone out there, like I said, our tens of listeners, has a different perspective. And you'll find this on Spotify. You find this on YouTube. Drop a comment. Maybe we'll talk about it next time.
Yeah.
But I do think sometimes all the three of us kind of have rose-colored lenses to that, and some people might not. They might not agree with us on this one because being a parent and a teacher, both working in the profession and working out as a parent, can come across a bunch of different ways. And I'd be really curious what you guys think about it, to be honest. We've had good experiences, I think, overall.
Right.
Except maybe that one teacher that you got on the phone for.
But we figured it out. It's communication.
I do know there's a no-call list. You're not allowed to call some people. I do know.
Okay.
Blacklisted.
It's okay. I'm fine with
She's
that.
blacklisted. Tressa and Ron blacklisted.
I'm only halfway through the whole education process of only half of my kids. Come on.
We're going to keep it light and simple this week. But seriously, folks, thank you for watching. If you are hanging out and watching us, we're getting a few under our belt. You can definitely tell we're getting more comfortable. Lessons Unplanned, the reality of teaching. We're going to take a break for the new year. We'll be back with some more episodes. Hopefully this will look a little bit better. We're getting there. Little progress being made. Yeah. Thank you to Tressa. Thank you to Jake for coming along on this journey with me and giving me your honest perspective, because that's what people need to hear. Yeah. It's not great. It's not bad. It's just being honest. Yep. Right? So with that, folks, we'll catch you next time.
Thank you.